Hey, hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. This week is the first week of 2022. Reading vlog. Yeah, what am I currently reading? Normally I start out the year on January 1st, which is today, with reading one of the Chronicles of Narnia books. They're really short and I like to start off my year with a positive, like, hey, I accomplished a book, I know it's something I'm gonna like, and I started out the year right, on the right step, being like, yes, I've accomplished something towards my goal already. This is like the first year in probably 5 to 8 years, I'm not totally sure how many years I've been doing that, where I'm just like not feeling it, and so I'm just not gonna do it. I am sick, unfortunately. I was sick like a month ago and I'm sick again. This time it's just head congestion. I decided to pick up Echoes and Empires. Let me grab the dust jacket for you all. This is what that looks like. This is Morgan Rhodes's new book. I really loved her Fallen Kingdom series and she hasn't written really anything else since then. So I decided to pick this one up. It actually doesn't come out until January 4th, but I was at my Barnes & Noble and they had it out early, so I bought it. I'm only like 20 pages in, so I really don't know anything about the book. I didn't learn anything about the book before starting it, and I just read a little bit last night while I was waiting for my meds to kick in before I passed out. My plan for today is to do some reading of this and to get a good chunk through it, just to kind of enjoy myself and chill out. I do have some filming to do, and I do have some laundry to do, along with maybe some other miscellaneous cleaning that I need to get done. But this week, my main focus is going to be this book, and then I'm going to be picking up the sequel to Zodiac Academy. I don't actually know what its name is. I just call it Zodiac Academy 2, which I'll be reading with some friends because we're not making fun of it. We're all having a really grand time, but we're all agreeing that these books are not great, and yet we can't seem to put them down. So I'll talk about that one more when I get to it. Finally, my audiobook for the week is Sephiroth's Hand. This is one of my few books that I own that is still from 2020. I have 3 books that I own that are from when I bought them in 2020, and those are the oldest I own. I don't own anything from before then that I haven't read. So I'm hoping to finish that up this week. I think the audiobook is like 30 hours and I'm maybe like an hour or 2 into it, so it shouldn't be too hard for me. If not, I do have a few books from my library that I need to kind of get to. So I do have Before They're Hanged by Joe Abercrombie, which is the sequel to The Blade itself, which I absolutely loved, was one of my favorite books of last year. And I cannot wait to get to this one because I think this one is just really gonna slap. And then I have The Book of Accidents, which I've heard is like a horror book about children, I want to say, which is something I love. And I'm really hoping that my hold for Nemesis games comes in this week and I can get to that actually after Sephiroth's Hand. If you watch TBR-opoly, you know though that I have 6 books that I need to read this month and I didn't name any of them right there. This week I am mostly just focusing on what I need to focus on, kind of what I want to focus on, and so next week I'm going to be really focusing on those books and I'm so excited to be getting to them. I also have to go a whole week without buying a book and I'm going to try to do that this week right now. So as of today, I have not purchased anything yet. I mean, it's only like 11 a.m., but I don't have plans to purchase anything and I need to go until next Saturday, I guess. So I've made it 100 pages through Echoes and Empires, and I'm really not feeling it, my dudes. I'm really not liking this book. I'm about to start calling a friend and talking to her, and I know one of the first questions she's gonna ask me is, what are you reading and how are you feeling about it? And I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm reading this book and I'm really not liking it. And she's gonna say, why aren't you DNFing, Amanda? You DNF all the time and you're proud of that fact. And I'm gonna say, well, to be completely honest, 2 reasons. One, it's the first of the year and I really don't want to start out the year with the DNF on the very first day, my very first book. Feels like a bad precedent going into 2022. And second, I filmed all the books I DNF'd in 2021 today, and it was a long video, and I don't want to have to talk about this book in 1 year when I've DNF'd it. Both of those are silly, dumb reasons, but let's talk about what this book is about. I'm gonna keep going at least for another like 20 to 50 pages and make a decision, I guess, then. So this book is about a girl named Jocelyn, and her father used to be the prime minister of this empire. He was assassinated a year ago, and her best friend's father was put in his place. So her best friend now has all the spotlight, all the attention, all the wealth that she used to have, and she's kind of being raised by this family, and besides her best friend, no one else in the family really likes her or cares for her, and she feels really alone. There is this queen of the land, and she has completely outlawed magic. It is bad. No one can use it. If you use it, you go to jail. It's just like the meme from Parks and Rec. You use magic, you go to jail. She is like touring this gala one night, and this person breaks in, and during the robbery, something goes wrong, and she gets imbued with magic. And then this person comes back for her and is like, I will help you get rid of the magic because I need that magic that you have inside of you for someone else. You need to not have magic because then the queen will want to kill you or put you in jail. The biggest issue I'm having with it is the dialogue is like super cringy. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find the line, but right when the villain, the robber, who I'm pretty sure is also gonna be the love interest, meets our main character, he literally sees her and calls her by her last name. She's a very well-known person, so it makes sense that someone would recognize her. So he calls her Drake. Why did you call me that? Your name, Jocelyn Drake, daughter of the former prime minister, personal friend to the queen, concerned friend of unconscious girls. I prefer to call people by their last names in my line of work. It makes it easier, less personal. Now, back to the problem at hand. Who talks like that? This other one that I just found that he also said, where she walks in and sees a bunch of people unconscious, and he says, they're not dead. This is called dust. Its magic works really well in getting people out of the way without unnecessary violence. They'll all be asleep for a while, but no harm done. Like, he over-explains everything. The explanation for how and why things are happening are all in, like, the bad guy's dialogue, and it's just not believable or real, and that's a pet peeve of mine that like really bothers me. So it's later that night and I've officially made it to page 240, which means that I only have about 140 pages left, so I will be finishing this book most likely tomorrow. I'm gonna get ready for bed right now, take all my cold medicine that'll pass me out, and then I'm gonna read until I fall asleep. So I'm hoping to get maybe another 40 pages read. Because it's YA and because it's kind of a short YA and the words on every single page are pretty big, I'm able to get through it a lot faster than I normally read. I wouldn't say that I'm enjoying it more. I just kind of decided that it was a really easy read and that I was gonna push through it. Hello, welcome to my last day of winter break. I go back to work tomorrow morning. I'm bummed. Dude, I could have another whole week off, honestly, but it's time to go back. I did lots of reading today. You saw that I finished Echoes and Empires and I rated it a 1.5 star. Eek. I probably should have DNF'd the book, to be honest, but I don't know. I was reading it so fast that I was like, what the heck? Why not just like keep going through it? It's not this big of a deal. I really felt like the characters were lacking. The conflicts were way too easy. The reveals weren't that good. I'm honestly kind of on the fence about whether or not I should just like give up YA fantasy for a year. I've been feeling kind of like it's not for me for a while now, but there are just certain ones that are so good that I hate to give up the entire genre to miss out on these gems of a book. But I also hate trashing on books repeatedly and noticing a pattern that is repeatedly YA fantasy that I am trashing on. Not to say that I trash on every single YA fantasy, it just seems that when I'm trashing, it's either that or it's horror. I'm not giving up YA fantasy anytime soon, but it's definitely something that I will consider moving forward, reading less and less of. And in fact, I've already gone to my Goodreads TBR for 2022 shelf and removed a lot of YA fantasy that I was kind of like on the fence about and been like, no, I'm just not going to read it. If I'm on the fence about it, I'm not reading it unless I hear someone say specifically, this is going to be amazing for you. I started Zodiac Academy 2. I don't even remember what the title of this book is. I'm going to continue to call it Numero Dos. I am about 15% into the book already, and it was so cringy. The first chapter was from a POV that we didn't have in book one. It was one of the heirs, so one of the boys, and it just was so homoerotic. Like, this author's telling me that these boys are straight and that they're like super into women, and then she freaking wrote this chapter. I can't. I want the boys to get together so bad too that it's like she knows. Actually, there's two women who are writing this. They know that that's what I want, and they wrote this chapter. That chapter was a real struggle to get through, not because of the homosexual inclinations of the chapter, but because of just how poorly it was written. It was just like not a good chapter, and I was like, oh my god, like, did they forget how to write from book one to book two? Not to say that book one was like super well written, but it at least like was enjoyable to read. But then I got to the part where it was about the two twin sisters again, and I'm like right back to where I was in book one, where I'm like, this is garbage, this is absolute garbage, but I'm enjoying myself so much. Hi, welcome to Tuesday. I feel like my voice is getting better, but it's still really funky. I just finished editing my least favorite video that I have to film every single year, which is all the books I DNF'd. And I just hate editing it because there's so many things I have to like put into it. Like, it's not just me sitting down talking, editing. It's like, go and find all the images from the books that I DNF'd, put them in, make sure they sync up properly. Anyways, it just takes a lot of time. I got an order today that I wanted to show you all. I did already open it because I thought that something had broken, because it is candles. It is candles from Grace and Honey, which is Beck in the Books here on YouTube. Absolutely love her content. I've always wanted to support her. She finally did a sale though. She's in England, if you don't know, and I'm here in the States, so the shipping is ridiculous, but she had a sale for the holidays, so I decided to support her finally. I thought something had broken, so I opened it. They're not broken. They came perfect condition. I am in love. These are my favorite candles that I have ever smelled in my life. So I got two. I got this one, which is called Starborn, and it has the scent of musk, patchouli, sage, and mahogany. It smells like a man who would do me right. And then this one, which is definitely my favorite one ever to have been scented, is pomegranate, which, if you don't know, I've mentioned it a few times on my channel. I absolutely obsessed with pomegranates, but it's pomegranate, raspberries, patchouli, and dark woods. I also, if you can't tell, love the smell of patchouli. Oh my god, it's like a dark spring day. Like, you walk out and it's spring and it's gloomy and it's raining, but there's flowers. I'm like, I don't even want to burn them because they smell so good, and I'm afraid that once I do burn them, they're gone forever, because I will not be able to afford to get these candles again just because of the shipping. It's literally, the candles are a great deal. The shipping is just ridiculous here. How far along am I into my book? I haven't done any audiobook listening today. I think I kind of took the day off, and I might take tomorrow off too. I don't fully know. I'm just like not in the mood to listen to an audiobook. I am 63% through Zodiac Academy 2, Guys, this book is absolute garbage and I absolutely cannot put it down. I'm so addicted to it. I was kind of hoping to finish it up tomorrow. I'm still gonna sit and read for probably about an hour tonight because it's only about 9 o'clock. Even with another hour, I don't know if I'll be able to finish tomorrow because tomorrow's family dinner night. My voice is really starting to hurt right now just talking to you guys so much. Hello, it's Wednesday night. I just got home from family dinner and I took a really quick shower and it is 8:25. So my mom suggested that I take some Benadryl or some type of allergy medication that it might help get rid of my cough that I've been having. So I'm gonna sit down and take some very expired medication, but for one night it's not gonna kill me. And I'm gonna sit on the porch and I'm gonna read the ending of Zodiac Academy, book 2. I am at 90%. So according to how I've been reading, it takes me about 20 minutes to read 5%. I have about 40 minutes left. And I know that if I take 2 of these, I will be asleep in about 45 minutes. So right now is going to be a race against the clock. We're gonna see how this goes. So I have my meds, very good. Everyone should take their medicine. And the timer starts now. Well, I finished the book, but my battery's dying, so let's go inside. Okay, I'm upstairs now. Editing Amanda is gonna hate this. My medicine is kicking in really bad because it actually took me about an hour to finish that last bit. Yeah, I'm a little bit out of it, falling asleep as we speak, and editing Amanda is going to hate the fact that I decided to film right now, but I think it'll be funny if she can edit it into cohesiveness. I finished Zodiac Academy 2. I do think my cough is better. Really enjoyed it, but it was not high quality literature, which not every book needs to be high quality literature. It just needs to be enjoyable, right? Well, not always, but I did have some issues specifically with like the world building and the logic of this book. I felt like for a sequel, which, you know, book 1 only took 2 weeks and book 2 took like a week and a half. For a sequel, I felt like it should grow the world more so than it did. And I still feel like the magic is super duper loose and I don't understand anything of it. It feels like anything that's not like the bully romance part of this story is like not cared about or not thought about, and that our authors like didn't put any time into it. Like there's this whole entire magic system that has like no definitions or no rules. They don't explain how the magic works at all. And then there's this whole entire like sporting event at the end of this book that's just like most of the rules aren't explained and you watch it for like 50 pages and like it's not super duper well explained to you. It's kind of just like brushed over, which to be fair, I didn't really care about the sporting event. I was caring about other stuff. So like the authors did it, but they didn't. I'm tired. Amanda doesn't know how to speak and she's getting off her feet because I'm sitting on my legs. This is not where I film normally. I decided to rate it a 2.5, which is what I rated book 1. I did enjoy this one a lot more, specifically because our main girls like fought back in this one. In book 1, they kind of just like rolled over and took it, which to be fair, I did mention that book 1 was 2 weeks and it was literally their first 2 weeks in the Fae realm. So I understand that like it was kind of just overwhelming, but book 2, they like fought back and they had backbones and they were strong. And I loved that about them. So I wanted to rate this book higher, like maybe a 3-star, because I was enjoying it a lot more. And I appreciated that fact of what they were doing, but I couldn't bring myself to do that when I felt like other areas of the book kind of lacked. I also read this one in a ridiculous fast amount of time. It's like on Amazon, it was like 530 something pages, and I read it in 4 days. My hands and my toes are freezing from sitting out there. So I'm gonna get into my warm bed and I'm gonna go to bed. No audiobooks were listened to today. Oh, really quickly, I was picking out my next book. I think it's gonna be Whisper of Shadow and Flames. I think I'm gonna start maybe tomorrow after work. We'll see what I'm in the mood for then. But if it's not this, it'll be one of my other books from my TBR pile because I need to get started on those. Anyways, I want to do some bragging really quickly. So my goal for 2022, which we are 5 days into, so I shouldn't brag. It's like knock on wood, Amanda, was to read 60 pages a day, 60 to 65 pages a day to get my page count. And so far I have read, I just did the math, on average 184 pages a day because I've been being ridiculous and I've been reading a lot. And when I have books on my phone, like when I had Zodiac Academy, I tend to read a little bit more because it's there. So like I'll literally be on the toilet and I'll read like a page, or I'll be like making dinner, I'll read 2 pages, or like I'm waiting in my car for like someone to show up and I'll read 5 pages. So like I get through things because instead of being like, oh, I need time to sit down and actually read, I just read whenever my phone is with me instead of like going on social media. My social media is lacking this week, which is great. The problem with having books on my phone is I don't like to read on my phone that much. It's not as enjoyable as a physical book. So I choose not to do it that much. When it comes to like the Zodiac Academy, where I'm not wanting to pay $16 to get the ebook, I'm downloading it on my phone. That's how I'm getting those many pages, but I'm really happy with the fact that I have so far exceeded my goal. I just got home from work. Give me like 2 seconds to change and then we'll talk about my day. Hey, how was your day? I hope it was good. Mine was pretty all right. I did lots of designing at work and I listened to like 6% of The Starless Crown. I'm thinking about DNFing it. Not even necessarily because it's bad. I don't have a hair tie on this hand. I don't know where my hair ties went. Not necessarily because it's bad, but because I'm not a fan of the writing. It's like overly descriptive. Like he takes paragraphs to stop and describe things that just seem to not have any importance to the story. So I did the thing that I like to do where I go online and I read other people's reviews, and if they're saying the same thing as me, then I'm like, ooh, good point, bestie, and then I DNF a book. I haven't officially DNF'd it. I'm taking some time in 2022 on my reads where instead of just being like, yep, I'm done and DNFing, maybe like taking a few days where I just don't make any decisions and pick up something else and then maybe try again, maybe not, I don't know. I'm just taking some time for myself instead of like making such split-second decisions. And then I got home and I was looking for an audiobook because I was like, I don't really feel like going back to Sephiroth's Hand, and I don't feel like reading Nemesis games, and I don't feel like reading Before They're Hanged. I clearly am not in the mood for something that's going to be super long and super like thought-provoking. I just want something like easy, quick, let's go. Like let me have an emotional reaction, but not let it be like a huge emotional connection, right? Whenever I get in this mood, I say I'm in the mood for a solid 4-star book. So I decided to do some scrolling on my phone in my libraries app because I'm still not buying books and I still haven't bought anything since we last talked, which is great because I only have a few more days left, and I think I'm going to try to not buy any books in January unless it's like my audiobook credit. I was scrolling through trying to find something and I found that they have the audiobook for Shadow of Whisper and Flame, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll really enjoy it better in audio format. So I put it on hold. I have about 2 weeks until it'll come, so I'm gonna read that way and see how I like it. I was really kind of shocked though, because when I started this book, I thought it was going to be a continuation. It's a series. There's 4 books in the series. It's a quartet. No, the series is composed of a bunch of standalone stories all taking place at the same time. So it's like this 2-week time frame that book 1 took place in. I am now following 2 different characters who are doing stuff at that same exact time frame, but elsewhere in the world. And they have like mentioned our characters a little bit, but not like super in depth and stuff. And so I like wasn't ready for that when I started the book. So I think that was part of my shock of like, I don't know if I'm in the mood to read this book because it's not what I was expecting going into it. I am going to go on a walk run. I'm going to go work out, and I'm going to be listening to an audiobook while I'm gone. I found an audiobook, a horror audiobook that's 3 hours. I've never heard of it before, called Fever Dream by Samantha Schweblin. She is a Spanish author. She speaks Spanish. The book is translated into English. It's 3 hours long. It's horror, so I'm hoping that it'll be a solid 4-star book because that's like what I want right now. And it was exactly that. I'm doing Compile again this year, at least for the time being. I'm doing it slightly different, but basically what this book came out to was exactly a 4.1 on my scale, which is out of 5. So it was exactly what I needed yesterday. So Fever Dream was actually really fantastic. If you're into like super weird horror where it's not kind of explained and it's not kind of given exactly to you, this book is fantastic and for you. It literally felt like a fever dream, and that's what the title promised me, so I'm really glad I got it. The main part of the story is about this woman who is in this hospital bed, and this little boy is talking to her, and he's trying to get her to tell this story, kind of how she got to the hospital. And you start to realize that her story of how she got to the hospital is connected to the little boy's mom. And the little boy's mom a few years ago had an incident with the little boy where he was accidentally poisoned, and so she rushed him to this like medicine woman, and the medicine woman said, I can save his life, but his soul will be swapped with someone else's, but your little boy will not be your little boy anymore. And he starts being really weird and really creepy and just really eerie. And so it's the story bouncing back and forth between this woman who is hearing this from this other mom, this woman in this hospital bed, and this woman kind of making this decision about her own daughter because something horrible happened with her own daughter. It's kind of the reason why she's in the hospital bed, right? Because of this like lack of time and how quickly back and forth it flips between the different stories and just how crazy it is and how kind of nothing is really explained. And the ending is super open and super unexplained. It was just a fever dream, and I really, really enjoyed it. If you like weird horror, definitely recommend checking this one out. What is my life looking like right now? I think I'm moving to end the vlog here because I'm gonna have to be doing some filming this weekend coming up for the next few weeks and prepping for some things that are happening on my channel. In case you're unaware, I am doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday videos through all of January, and then once February hits, we'll be back to just the Monday, Friday scheduling. I'm really enjoying it, but it's tiring. This week has been a really, really weird week, to be honest. I feel like I did a lot of physical reading and not a lot of audiobook listening, but I did finish 3 books, so that's not bad. That puts me, I think, right on track for where I need to be this week. I'm aiming to read 2 to 3 books every single week through the year of 2022. If you haven't seen my goals video yet, you can check that out. That's kind of it. I still have my lingering cough. It is slowly going away. The doctor gave me some stuff for it and we're gonna be good. Let me know how your week went, what you've been reading, what you are looking forward to in 2022. I found out some new books today that are gonna be coming out this year that I'm so psyched for. I haven't bought a single book this week, which means I officially did cross off that prompt on my TBR-opoly. So I have knocked down one of my 7 prompts that I need to do for this month. The rest are reading books, and I haven't read any of those books yet, but I still have 3 weeks to get 6 books read, so it's not an issue for me. That's it for this week. Thanks for watching. I don't remember how my outro goes, but until next time, I'll talk to you in the comments. Bye.